Welcome to vuforia-spatial-toolbox API tools. Today we're going to go over a bunch of the API tools that we've added into the toolbox. These include the weather tool, the Airtable tool, and a general API tool that you can use with most public APIs. So first we're going to utilize the weather API. So if we go into our pocket and scroll all the way to the bottom, we can grab the weather tool. And so this is prompting us to enter a country code and a zip code. So first we're going to check out Denmark. We're going to see the zip code of 1000. And so you can see in this zip code it's 19 degrees Celsius. We do switch between Celsius and Fahrenheit based on the country's standards. So as we check out another zip code, the blue target on the ground is our image target. So if you haven't seen our video on that already, you should go check it out to get a better understanding of why that's here. We can then also check different countries. So if we go and delete the DK country code, we can check the US country code. And if we check for 02155, we can see in Medford it's 81 degrees Fahrenheit. The icon also changes to represent the different weathers. So right now in Medford there's a cloud because it's cloudy. If we go into the programming tab, we can see that the weather tool has a node associated with it. So this exports the temperature as a number somewhere else in the program. Next, we're going to explore the API tool. So we can go into our pocket and grab this tool, and then we'll drag it into our space, and it's prompting us to enter a URL. So for this demo, we're going to use the ISS API. To learn a little bit more about the types of APIs you can use with this tool, there's a link in the description to the file path of the code that explains this, and there's comments that indicate what kind of APIs you can use. So we can see the first API call, but if we go into the pocket, we're going to drag in a on button and connect it up to the API tool. So now every time we press this on button, the API tool makes a new GET call and updates the latitude and longitude of the ISS. If you want a more constant update instead of pressing a button, you could use our transfer or loop tools, which we've also made videos describing, and these will give you a more constant update of the API instead of this button method. So to get the Airtable API, we're going to go into the pocket and grab the Airtable tool. Now Airtable is an Internet of Things IoT software, and so what it allows us to do is to have data that's stored on the internet, and anybody with the API key and base ID can access and change that data. So you can have data being sent across states or countries just through this Airtable tool. So you would go ahead and enter your API and your base ID into this tool, and then enter the variable that you want to change. So you can have multiple variables on Airtable and multiple tools that are associated with each of those. Right now our Airtable tool is in receiver mode, so we're going to go into the pocket and grab a value tool so that we can display the value of this motors. So if we go into the programming tab, we can connect the Airtable tool up to the value tool, and so this will send whatever we get from the Airtable. So now if we go onto the Airtable website, which you can see in the top half of the screen, we change motors to 20, and then in the Spatial Toolbox, the value tool updates to 20. We can then go ahead and change the motors with 30, and now we can see the value changing to 30 in the Spatial Toolbox as well. We can go ahead and update our value one last time. This time we're going to change it to -25, and you can see that our value tool updates to accommodate this negative number as well. So this is how you can display values from the Airtable in the Spatial Toolbox. We're going to get rid of this value tool because we won't need it for when we switch into sender mode. So we're going to drag the value tool over to the trash can. And then we're going to go into the pocket and we're going to pick up our new tool. This time it's going to be the number tool. So we go ahead and add that into our space. This allows us to input any number and we'll send that up to Airtable. So we can flip the setting on the Airtable tool from receiver to sender. And this is going to allow us to send to the Airtable instead of receiving. Now we can drag from our number tool into our Airtable tool in the programming tab. Now when we input a number, you can see that the Airtable number is updating as well. We can go ahead and update this number. So instead of sending 100, we can send 1. And you can see that the Airtable number will update to accommodate this change as well. Similar to when we were receiving, we can also send up negative numbers. So this time we can send up -20, and you'll see that the Airtable updates to accommodate that change as well. And so this is a brief summary of how you can use the Airtable tool, where you can link multiple Airtable tools with senders and receivers to have robots or other interfaces communicate across the world.